Greetings everyone, welcome back. In the last video, I was playing around with the idea of these little ponies that I got at a thrift store, and I admit I am struggling with what they're supposed to be, because every time I look at them, to me at least, they're kind of like long-legged little piggies. And that shouldn't bother me, but I think what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of time to kind of figure out the shape of them in some way. And yeah, I don't know. They just seem odd to me. So, because it's a sketchbook, that's what I'm going to do. Let's zoom in on this just a little bit. And I'm going to draw a whole bunch of little ponies or something like that, just to try to figure out what I'm expecting out of the shape of these things. Now, I don't really think that they're long-legged little piggies. That's kind of how I'm viewing them, which isn't really fair, I suppose. I think it's fun to just sort of work ideas out in your head and then maybe, yeah, just doodle some things, figure out why something is shaped the way it is. And you can kind of change the anatomy a little bit as you go too. Like, well, that looks interesting. So what if I tried to do that a little bit? Do kind of my own take on what I just looked at, which is that kind of shape. Maybe the ears would be like that, or it's kind of fun to just sort of play around with the process of something. See, that to me, that looks like the shape of a head for a horse. Of course, you have to have the eyelashes too, why not? Here we have one that seemed a little angry. Let's go change that just a little bit. I'm just moving around, trying to figure out the shape so that it makes sense. I have really big eyes. Now, how do I change that so that they don't seem so angry? Of course, I don't want to put really big ears on them because I don't want it to look too much like a donkey. I have to have these huge eyes too, huh? Interesting. Play a little bit more with the shape of this body, which looks kind of like a jelly bean and another jelly bean. Whereas this one's like super exaggerated with a huge head. That's the one that I think is kind of like the knockoff version. I'm not a knockoff. Anyway. Let's see. So I'll draw another side profile. Thin out the leg just a little bit. Get to the hoof. Maybe a more exaggerated hoof. And now I'm kind of looking more at the shape of this one, which is like an anime version, but I don't know if I like that one very much. To me, it's a little strange, but some do like it. It has a little face almost like Bambi. Yeah, I don't know if I like that either. And then it has these little ears back here like that. This one, of course, has the Pegasus wings. Interesting. And gigantic eyes. With lots of little moon glow looking things in them and all that kind of stuff. Ooh, I might have made the eyes bigger. No, probably the same. Not my thing, I promise you, but it's fun to explore the ideas of what these things are. Next, let's try just a sort of a different head position. Let's put it right here. And I don't know if we need the eyes quite as big. For some reason I like the idea of the brow. Maybe the eyelashes should go back there like that. Let's see if we can back this out just a little bit. Something like that. Now they do seem to have this sort of haunching kind of back heel thing. a little more horse-like in a way. Bodies are a little bit different though. So yeah, sketching is a little bit of an odd thing. You try to figure out perspective, and hopefully you put a few things in your memory bank for when you go about this from memory, because I don't always draw using references and whatnot. Now, more quick doodles. Let's see. Another big eye. And this one is going to be a little bit more from memory, looking very rarely at the reference of whatever I have on the table. A little bit more like the last drawing that I did. Which is just, one page back, but still. Being that it's recent, I should be able to just sort of come up with something, right? Now, weirdly, I almost like this one a little bit better than the one that I did in that last video. Now, can I work any part of just these other little doodles that I did into this? Now, they seem to have very short bodies, sort of larger hip. Now for fun, I kind of like that one. That seems interesting. The shape of the face here to me seems a little less piggy-like. I know I said that more than a couple of times, but let's see if we can do like a maybe a different sort of look with that. You know what? Yeah, let's just try that. So I'm going to draw another bean body. maybe have it looking back over its shoulder a little bit. Horses to me are amongst the most elegant moving creatures. That's interesting. Now, try one semi-serious one now. Just using some of the weird and wonderful things that I did back here. This one down here kind of being my favorite, but let's see where we can go. And I'm going to start with the eye for my doodle. And we'll try to soften up the eye just a little bit. Right now it looks kind of a little bit harsh. Again, I'm still just kind of sketching. Again, we'll make it a unicorn. There's those little tiny bodies too, which seem funny. And as I said in the last video, I remember seeing them in person. They just seem so funny, and then they're adorable, and they play, and especially the baby version of them. So let's see, what else can I do with this? We'll lock that base down. Go back to that blue. I can't really help that this is how I would draw hair. For the mane. Especially in sketching. That to me just seems fun. Get to the hooves. Oops, I don't want to shake the camera thing too much. Kind of like that. As I said, this is more of a traditional kind of, like what this one would be a little more like, rather than this one, which is fine. Let's see. Now there is a unicorn styled My Little Pony that's a little bit more anime that I'm choosing to sort of model some of this after, I think. And it would look a little something like this. So I need a dark blue or a darker purple. Let's see what this looks like. I think it's supposed to be more blue. Okay, let's see what this one's like. Yeah, a little bit better. Something like that. Next, I don't know why this is necessary for them to have their own special markings, but I guess it's kind of cool. This one often wears like other identifying things, like friendship bracelets or something. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm going to do a little bit of quick finishing on it. So it's still kind of in the style that I would do it. Still kind of going from memory, even though I have like a reference nearby. This one would be slightly more special. Like this one, from what I saw from a little bit of animation, this one's named Izzy Moonbow. And oh, and here's the other thing that I think is kind of funny. There are different versions of these, of course. There's some that have slightly more human kind of looks to them, which I think is kind of interesting. So they're not just My Little Ponies. You can get them so that they're humanoid looking as well, which I think is kind of funny. So I can not do these exactly the same as the other. Not worried as much about making it exactly like the last video. But again, in the style that I would do it. Of course, I hope that you all, if you're doodling along, you would just kind of do the same as you see fit. Kind of put your own style into it. And you kind of get to see the process that I might use, but you don't have to do it the way I would do it. I think you have to come up with your own kind of process eventually. Some of you, I'm sure, already do. But artsy stuff is not really supposed to be any kind of a, well, I mean, it's a constant learning thing. It's kind of what I'm getting at. Kind of like how this creature and its face kind of frustrated me a little bit. And how unfair of me to refer to it as looking a little bit like a pig, I suppose. Which are adorable creatures, mind you. I don't know if Izzy Moonbow has like specific little shiny things in the eyes. But I mean, based on this, which is very similar, I put in 2 around the pupil. I think I kind of feel okay about that. With this one, I'm going to go with a slight brownish eye as well. Maybe a little more amber than brownish. Just going to darken in some of it a little bit. So if you find this kind of interesting, let me know in the comments down below. Or not. And if you have any ideas that you'd like to see me sort of play around with, that's fun too. Let me know down below. I'm always doodling anyway, whether or not you see it on here. I kind of get a kick out of this one. So after this doodle, something I haven't done in a while is I'm going to find one of my guitars and maybe just see if I, from muscle memory, can play something kind of funny on it. Next thing I'm going to do, throw in a little bit more of this. So I would call this more the old school version of the My Little Pony. Because I like to do this, I'm getting out a little bit of water. I'm just going to blur in some of these details. So it doesn't look as much like a little piggy anymore, so that's not so bad. But maybe that's part of what makes them kind of cute. Is that they retain that sort of cutesy quality to them. Now let's be careful around the face not to draw out too many of the details that I left in there purposefully. A little bit in the ears we'll bring out. Now let's take care of some of this blue in the tail. We'll move that around quite a bit. The little tiny hooves. Can you imagine? I saw a video of like somebody that has like little baby miniature goats. That is hilarious. Can you imagine having little baby goats or even like little ponies like this running around with their little hooves tapping on the floor? That'd be hilarious. So already this video is just a little bit longer than the last one, but of course we spent some time trying to figure out some of the shapes of the body. I want that unicorn horn to be slightly more prevalent and hopefully that much more noticeable. Okay. some of the detail that I might have taken away there. Put a little bit more detail in here around this horn, around the ears. Around some of this topside mane. So yes, if some of you don't do cursive writing, I encourage you to give it a go. It's kind of, doesn't really, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's going away. I think a lot of us still write stuff down. You know, you pick up a pen, pick up some paper. I used to know a little bit of shorthand, but it's not really necessary anymore either. So maybe I need to practice that a little bit more too. Anyway, folks, I think that is it for now. There we go, just so that it all fits there. Thanks for coming back if you saw the last video and hanging out a little bit more. And here you go. This is my version of a My Little Pony second attempt, and using some of the modern aesthetic of the later versions of them. So anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully we'll see you again sometime in the near future.